days ago, I set myself the challenge to make as many Christmas projects as possible using up my forgotten Christmas stash. This is my stash of Christmas craft supplies, and this is the box they're supposed to fit into. My crazy big idea was to use as many ugly pattern papers as possible. I know ugly Christmas sweaters are a thing, but are ugly Christmas papers a thing too? It is day 6 and I've already created gift tags, an accordion fold Christmas card, scrapbook layouts, interactive mini albums, and more. Today, I'll be creating a scrapbook layout that has a super fun interactive element. It's time to pull out your Christmas photos, sequins, and 2 full sheets of ugly Christmas pattern paper. You're gonna love this idea. I'll be working with Pink Fresh Studios' Oh What Fun collection today, and here's a look at my chosen ugly papers. More on those in a moment. First, I want to show you the cut file that I'll be working with. This one is the exclusive December design for the cut of the month, and I'll be sure to leave details in the description box below. This is the first of the ugly papers I'll be using for today's project, and whilst the icons on it are actually quite cute, it's just that they're all a bit too much for me. I am going to be able to use it in small sections though, so I've used it for the frame of my layout, I've used it to back the cut file, and I'm also going to use it to mount my photo. As for the second ugly pattern paper, it's actually the background one that you can see here, and I've already started on my fix for it. I have cut it to size for my background and then layered a piece of vellum on top. I've stitched around the edge, leaving a small gap so that I can add in my sequins. I've turned my background into a super fun shaker pocket. The vellum has 2 jobs here. It does create that pocket for the sequins, but it also tones back the print on the pattern paper in the background. I know some of you will be saying, that paper's not that ugly, and you know what? You're right. It wasn't that bad. It was just a little bit busy. If I wasn't doing this challenge, I probably would have put this layout on a plain cardstock background, but because I am on this mission to use up these supplies, I really wanted to work with what I had. For this page, that meant choosing the best option that I had from the collection and then adding the vellum to make it more subtle. I'm going with a very centered design for today's page. I'm going to run the cut file down the right and then position the photo towards the left. I'm keen to use one of the pocket page cards as well, and I have found that if I position it super early on in my project, I can get these onto my pages. They are fabulous to add into your paper layers, and I especially love the ones with the titles like this one that says Joyful. I decided against the one that said December because the red was really saturated and it stood out too much. The colours I'm working with are actually quite soft, so I want to continue with that. So with the background sorted, the cut file backed and positioned, and my photo in place, I don't actually have a lot of space for embellishing. I'm going to have to be very mindful to keep these embellishments simple, otherwise it's going to look very cluttered very quickly. The other thing that I do know about myself is that I get overwhelmed when I have lots of choices, so I'm going to immediately start to exclude elements. The easiest place to start with that is by size. I know that I have limited space here to work with, so there are going to be several supplies that are automatically excluded because they're too big. To keep the layout from looking too cluttered, I'm going to keep all of my embellishments within the framework of what's already there. So nothing will extend out past the edges of the cut file or the photo. The second way I'll exclude things is by colour. I already know that I don't want to use that deep dark red, and I'll also exclude the deep blue that's in the collection. Can you see that red sticker that I've positioned that says nice list? Yep, that doesn't stay. For me, it stands out too much. That red is too much of a pop of colour. I think on camera you can see here too that it actually draws out the pops of red in the frame, and I don't want that. I'm actually going for a more subtle, more pastel version of this collection. So I really don't want to make my colors pop here. I want to make them seem more muted. I made one simple change and switched that piece out for this one here. It is still a red and white title, but rather than being on a red background, it's on a white background, and it makes all the difference. Have you been joining in with me on the challenge? I do hope so. It's not too late to join in, and in fact, it's the perfect time for you to be stash busting these supplies. I'll leave a link in the description box below and let me know in the comments, what have you been making? This is all looking really good at this point. I am going to focus a little bit on flow. Here I'm thinking about how the eye will travel across the page. Now, naturally, because we have text, it will want to travel left to right, and of course it will be naturally drawn to my photo. So I want to be sure that my visual triangle that I create here fits in the flow of that. I want to work with that, not against it. I talk a lot about flow on the channel, and I actually think it's one of the most important parts of scrapbook design. If you'd like to hear more, be sure to subscribe. I'll also leave some key videos in the description box below for you to watch next. So in creating my visual triangle, I want to replicate some elements. One of the easiest ways for a layout to look really consistent is to repeat icons. And for this layout, I'm actually going to go with the star shape. I knew I did not want to use anything that was rectangular or square. It was feeling a little bit blocky, so I needed to move away from that. I did audition a couple of round elements and they didn't quite fit right. So what was next best option was something that was curved, like the stocking that I end up using in the letter O in love, and that bell. I'm really surprised that the bell did not stay on the layout because I think it actually fits really lovely. I do sometimes wonder what I was thinking when I'm watching these videos back. It's so interesting to see the change in my perspective. Do you think the bell should have stayed? I'm thinking now maybe it should have. That is the layout now complete. Of course, I'm going to leave you with close-up images. I want you to be able to see the very cute shaker pocket in the background there and all of the layers of embellishments. I'm officially halfway through my 12 Days of Christmas Stash Busting Challenge, and I realised that I haven't yet used any of my Christmas washi tapes. Tomorrow's plan is to fix that. If you have Christmas themed washi tapes in your stash that you're not sure what to do with, you need to watch this video next. It's full of ideas you're sure to love. If you've missed days 1 through 5 of the challenge, it is not too late to join us. Be sure to check the description box below for all the details. I'll see you all again very soon. Until then, bye!